Hey everyone, I'm Chungyo Hong in Tupalab. I'm so happy to share with you the book that I most recently read and found to be the most impressive. Before I begin, let me ask you a simple questions. Have you ever wondered why you work hard, earn money, and still feel like your bank account is always empty? Today, I would like to introduce The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. This book argues that doing well with money is not mainly about intelligence or technical knowledge. Instead, it is mostly about behavior. In other words, financial success is not just about knowing more. It is about controlling emotions, building good habits, and making reasonable decisions over time. Although this book consists of 20 main stories as you see, I would like to share a few lessons that I think are the most important. The first lesson is no one is crazy. People often make financial decisions that seem strange to others. For example, some people spend too much avoiding investing or take risks that seem unreasonable. But Bogenhauser explains that these choices usually come from personal experience. Each person has lived through different economic conditions, family situations, and life events. Our own experience is only a tiny part of how the world works, but it strongly shapes how we think. That's why people can make very different money decisions and still believe they are being reasonable. This chapter reminds us to be less judgmental and more understanding when we look at other people's financial choices. The second lesson is about luck and risk. According to the book, luck and risk are closely connected. Not all success comes only from hard work, and not all failure comes only from bad choice. Sometimes successful people benefit from timing, opportunity, or circumstances they cannot fully control. At the same time, people can fail even when they work hard and make smart decisions. This does not mean effort is unimportant. It means we should stay humble when we see success and show empathy when we see failure. I think this lesson is important because it reminds us not to oversimplify financial outcomes. The third lesson is that getting wealthy and staying wealthy are different skills. Building wealth often requires action, optimism, and a willingness to take risks. But keeping wealth requires almost the opposite: caution, discipline, and the ability to survive difficult times. This idea connects to compounding. Compounding only works when you stay in the game for a long time. So the goal is not just to make money quickly. The goal is to avoid ruin and remain financially stable over time. This chapter taught me that long term survival is more important than short term brilliance. The fourth lesson is One of the most memorable in the book, wealth is what you don't see. When we see expensive cars, luxury brands, or impressive lifestyle, we often think of wealth. But the book makes an important distinction between being rich and being wealthy. Being rich means having a high income or spending power. Being wealthy means having assets that you do not spend. In other words, real wealth is often invisible. It is the money saved, invested, and kept for future freedom. And that freedom is the most valuable part. True wealth gives you control over your time, your choices, and your life. To conclude, The Psychology of Money is not just a book about finance. It is a book about human behavior. It's like our study, right? Everything is human factor. What I learned from this book is that financial success is not about showing off or making perfect decisions. It is about building habits and strategy that give you stability, freedom, and peace of mind. So, as an older guy, I highly recommend this book to all you who are about to start building your wealth in earnest. 505. Read it as soon as possible. This is the end of my sharing. Thank you for listening. See you in the class. Bye bye.